Hello, I'm going to go over the Elemental Catalyst set. This is very commonly used in trial groups to help get to the critical damage cap of 125%, and it is an extremely essential set to use in your group. So I'm going to go over how to easily use this, as well as some tips on where to slot it, what roles to use it on, and all of that, so that you can get the maximization out of this set and have your team doing 15% additional crit damage to ad pulls as well as boss fights. So let's go over my build here real quick in terms of where I have this positioned. Elemental Catalyst is a light armor set. So because DPS need to ideally be in medium armor, you're going to want to slot 3 of these pieces on the jewelry. This makes the set always active, but it also reduces the amount of light armor you're wearing so that you can still wear medium armor pieces where necessary. So how I have this situated is I have 3 pieces of jewelry, and then on the 2 small armor pieces I have the waist and the gloves of the Elemental Catalyst. This way, regardless of what bar I'm on, the set always is active. So then I have medium armor War Machine on the feet, the legs, and the chest. And then I have front bar War Machine daggers and a back bar Maelstrom Arena staff. For my monster set that I run on this build, I have 2 pieces of medium Incrodius Behemoth. So I'm buffing the crit damage by 15%. I'm buffing fire damage by another 5%. And then with War Machine, I'm providing Major Slayer to the group. If I hit it with 500 ultimate, I'm giving 50 seconds of Major Slayer. Now the other buff that I give the group comes from my front bar ultimate, which is the Glacial Colossus, which gives major vulnerability for 20 seconds. I know that the tooltip there says 17, however you have to remember that the Colossus hits 3 times and it resets that 17-second timer with every hit. So if you have an ad pull or any enemy for that matter, a boss, be it whatever it is, if they get hit by all 3 of those Colossus slams when he smashes the ground, it's going to be a total of 20 seconds of major vulnerability. But let's get back to the Elemental Catalyst set, because that's what the video is supposed to be about. In order to proc the Elemental Catalyst condition, you need to do flame, shock, and fire damage and keep that up, because the debuff only lasts for 3 seconds. So the Necromancer class is the easiest to do without the scribing skills, because of their toolkit has access to all 3 elements. The Unnerving Boneyard does frost damage. Additionally, this skill here, the Detonating Siphon, can be switched to a shock ability, or you can also use a lightning staff on your back bar and use Wall of Elements. For fire, you could also, this is actually how I proc the fire on here, is with the fire ability. I am using scribed skills in my build, quite a large amount of them, because they're very effective at applying all those elements of damage to a large amount of groups. So for example, I have shock here with the scribed ability with the destruction staff ability, and that is shock, lingering torment, and the minor brittle focus or affix script. So then I have the fire damage handled here, and then on the front bar I'm using the Unnerving Boneyard, which also applies minor vulnerability and major breach. So that is how you can easily keep up the 3 parts of damage. You have the frost damage here, then you have the fire, and then with this one you have the shock. So all 3 of those, as you can see, as long as you keep these skills up, you can lay it down again, lay this down again, and lay that down again, and it's that simple. All 3 of those just continually stay up. Now Boneyard is the shortest, so you have to reapply that more quickly, but that is on your front bar so that you can reapply it. So I'm actually, in reality on this build, providing 25% crit damage to the group because Minor Brittle adds another 10% critical damage. And because this skill is so large, I'll drop it right here so you can see how big it is. That hits a very large amount of enemies. And it lasts for 20 seconds. The Minor Brittle portion as well as the shock damage over time. So this is 15, this is 20, and this is 10, but this is on your front bar so it's easier to keep up. So in closing, you want to make sure that if you're going to run the Elemental Catalyst set, you want to run it on the jewelry and your waist and hands. That way you can wear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of medium armor, and you can keep your damage in a decent spot. This is unbuffed damage here, so let me just go ahead and pull out my archer, which gives me major brutality and sorcery, and then I will drop my weapon damage glyph, and as you can see, I've got pretty decent damage there. I can even pop a spell power pot to buff my spell critical, and I've got a decent amount of damage just within this build. Recoveries are also pretty good because I'm using a couple of other things, suggestions. This is why scribing is so useful. This is a bleed damage skill which gives the group minor recoveries, and then this here is a physical damage skill that will apply minor light magic steal to the enemy. So this gives 168 magicka to the entire group when they attack enemies. So that equates to 336 magicka recoveries if they're going to damage an enemy every second, because recoveries only tick for every 2. However, this is going to tick for every 1. So this is a very effective build for getting Elemental Catalyst in your group and having it be maximized, and so that you're not still wearing light armor or not doing as much damage as you can. But those are my suggestions for this set. Thank you for watching.